Hi, everyone. Welcome to the episode 8 of MOV Leaders, a podcast where we are celebrating women leaders. Before jumping into the episode, we wanted to call out Harpreet Singh, a woman trailblazer who created history in 1988 by becoming the first woman pilot in Air India. She is now becoming the first CEO of an airline industry, Air Alliance. Congratulations, Harpreet Singh. We are truly proud of you. You have created and forged a path for young women leaders out. Keep inspiring us all. Today, we are going to see one such inspiring leader whom I am working with, Kirti Sharma, Senior Product Marketing Manager at Freshworks. Let's welcome Kirti to the show. Hi,
Hi,
Kirti.
Cynthia.
Welcome to the show.
Hi.
So, for those who don't know, we both work in Freshworks. I speak a lot about the great culture for women in workplace, which is driven by Freshworks. So, I'm so happy to meet another women leader from the same platform. Welcome to the show, Kirti. So,
Likewise, very happy to be here, Cynthia.
so why don't you walk us through your background and journey, Kirti?
Sure. I'm currently at Freshworks handling product marketing for this product called Fresh Collar, an up and coming product at Freshworks. It's relatively new to Freshworks, been here about 6 months, if you can call it new. And I've been in B2B tech for about 14 years now. I started at SAP Labs in a product management role and then moved on to Conquer Technologies doing product marketing for their India business. And then I was at a few startups, which were really, I would say, more of a highlight of my career because it's like baptism by fire, isn't it? Working at those small companies, and then finally here I am at Freshworks.
Inspiring, Kirti. So I always used to respect and I get inspired from women who started in product field. It's very kind of niche field, right? If I remember rightly, I think from 2014 you started your career in product marketing, which is a way niche field back then. So how did you land it up there? What inspired you to be there?
Oh, yeah, actually. So I was at SAP Labs and I started working in a team which is like an incubation center where we were rolling out different new products into the market. And I was given a GTM role there about launching new mobile apps into the Indian market. And from there, then I was called by a recruiter from Conquer Technologies, and she had my CV with her from the past year, from when I had applied to a marketing role. And when this new role where she thought I was more suited, she just called me up, about this new product marketing role for the Indian market. So I'd say serendipity and a very efficient HR made that switch happen.
I understand, Kirti. So, product marketing is a very different ball game altogether, right? Just you being a veteran in that field, I just wanted to take a couple of insights from you. Like, what are the opportunities and challenges you are seeing for women in product marketing or those who wanted to be aspire in product marketing? What is your advice, Kirti?
Yeah, so I would start by saying that product marketing, uh, on the surface of it, it's the mixture of a lot of things that you might do in marketing and product management, even in sales a little bit for that matter. And I I would want to say that a lot of skills that you need in product marketing are some of the skills that come naturally to women, right? But I would also like to say that not to say that men do not have those skills, right? So I will just go in and share that in a little bit. But right at the start, I want to say that when you're making a career choice, don't go by the stereotypes that already exist, right? Just because sales isn't supposed to be a very, stable, steady role doesn't mean that women should not venture into it. So when you're making career choices, think about what your strengths are, then think about what energizes you in work. And then lastly, Also think about, does this role make me step out a little bit of my comfort zone? If it does, then go for it, right? It doesn't have to be outrageously different from what you already do. But if it helps you just step out of where your comfort zone is, then definitely go for it. Now, to answer your question on product marketing, basically, if I've put together some slides, if we can
Oh,
dive into
good.
those, that'll be a good start.
Sure, it'll be great to see the deep insights. So, can we go ahead and share the screen, please?
All right. So, just to spend a little bit time on what is product marketing, basically, it's seen as a voice of the customer, somebody who combines product knowledge along with what the customers need, right? And then hence become an advocate for customers. So, one of the most important skills of a product marketer that I believe is the ability to translate those product features into value for customers and put it right in that setting, in a way that makes sense to the customers and in a way that places your product in a unique place in the minds of the customers. And that is why you will see that the product marketer ends up working a lot with the product team, the customer success team, the sales and marketing team. And as you will see in the next slide, so this is a definition of what the PMA calls out, the authority on product marketing. That's what they say. Product marketing is at the center of everything. But what I think product marketing is, and that's captured here on the next slide, what I feel product marketing is, it is somebody who is elevating everyone else's work, which is marketing, product, sales, and customer success. Why? And to put it humbly, why? Because marketing was still doing their campaigns. Product management was still launching products. Sales was still doing their competitive intelligence before and doing their pitch decks before. But having a product marketer come into the play just lends a lot more expertise, lends a lot more customer's voice in all of these things. And that expert is then able to, bring in that unique positioning into the products that you want to take your product to the market with. So that's how I would define product marketing. Now, coming to the skills that I believe questions you need to answer to see if product marketing is for you and is for women out there. There are 6-7 things that I feel like personality traits, you can call it skills, that I believe are important to product marketing. And if you go next on the next slide, you will see you need to be very detail oriented. Why? Because you will be launching a product that you haven't built. You will be creating a competitive battle card against a competitor that you can't know everything about, right? So you still need to be the one to peel the layers of something and know things in as much detail as possible, with all of the constraints that you have. And for some people, details could be unnerving, but for a product marketer, you should be the person for whom details are soothing, right? So that's the first one. The second one is you should be somebody who's in love with words. Essentially, as a product marketer, you end up writing a lot of stuff. You will do your website pages. You will create a lot of product-based assets. You will do a lot of events, presentations, etc. So you should be somebody who naturally likes to read, write, and is somewhat sort of fascinated with the magic that words can create. The third one is you need to be a long-term thinker. And with this, I will also address what is the difference between marketing and product marketing, right? So whatever you do in product marketing, your GTM, your sales enablement, your launches, etc., what you're doing is for the longer term, you are placing your product for success. You're creating that unique positioning. You're helping create your brand. You're helping state to customers how unique your product is. And so that's more like creating potential energy for your product in the market. Whereas marketing thinks about the more near-term things of harnessing that awareness, that knowledge, that preference in the market for your product and translating into leads, opportunities, business, etc. So that's really the difference articulated in a nerdy way. If you could go next. Yeah, and like you saw right at the start, product marketing works with many different teams, and they will not always have time to give to you, like to share product knowledge or to share, the customer contacts and so on. So you should also be somebody who's naturally friendly and operates based on relationships rather than tactical transactional basis. And next is unapologetically curious. I would say that's very important. Like I said, you're not a part of all of these teams, but you need to work very close with them. So you should be somebody who's not afraid of asking a lot of questions, right? So uh, they tell you something and then you ask why and then how, and that series of asking questions artfully without offending people. And lastly, uh, you also need to have somewhat of a thick skin. Why? Because, like we were just talking, product marketing is sort of a new function in the Indian B2B SaaS market, at least. And there's not a whole lot of awareness about what you do and whether this is something that marketing should be doing or product marketing should be doing. So you need to have somewhat of a thick skin to always be able to explain to people what you do and not be offended if they are somewhat ignorant about your role and your contributions to the company. So, yeah, that's the last bit of it.
It's very insightful and deep, Kirti. The idea of this platform is to learn from each other. And I'm sure there are a lot of aspirants, youngsters there, men or women, who wants to be in product marketing. I'm sure this would have given them a very detailed insight. Thank you for that. Thank you for taking out your time to carving out this PPT in a very well versed format. Thank you, Kirti, for
Sure,
that.
glad.
Extension of that question, Kirti. Any okay, if I have to ask in this way, any challenges do you see for women in this area, in the product marketing area, or rather, on a contrary, you see any opportunities that is cutting edge for women? So either way, I just wanted to know your thoughts.
Yeah, and like I was saying with the slides, Cynthia, so I believe that women have a natural flair for working based on creating authentic relationships with other people rather than transactional based interactions with people. Then like I was saying, women could be more detail oriented, right? We like to dive into things and really figure out what's going on there. And also, what I've observed, for example, on my teams, is that women are more uh, keen to try new ways of going about things. I've seen them question the status quo a lot more. Why? Maybe because the status quo is not designed for us, right? It doesn't always favor us. So they always like to ask, why not do it like this? Why not do it differently? So these are the few things I think which are very, very, very valuable. And again, not to say that men do not do these things.
Okay, got it. 100%, Kirti. So, okay, so moving on to the leadership position, you're a leader by yourself. So, in your experience, have you come across any difference in leadership styles between men and women?
Mhm. Yeah, and I can only talk from observation, Cynthia, because I've not been fortunate to have a woman manager up until now. I've had a lot of mentors in my career who've been women, of course. But if I were to talk about leadership styles, I would take the recent example of what happened in the world last year during the pandemic. So all of the countries and all of the US states, for example, where where the governments did a good job of managing the crisis, they happened to be led by women leaders, right? They had fewer cases and they had fewer deaths. Now, this is not news. This has been talked about a lot in the media. There's been a lot of research around this. But essentially, what came out was all of the leadership capabilities that you need in a crisis, women tend to exhibit those more naturally. So, for example, the ability to empathize with people, to communicate more effectively, to basically connect with people at that human level, it seems that women uh, tend to exhibit those capabilities more naturally. And I'm only saying this, I'm not saying this again to say that men do not, but the only reason, in fact, I'm putting it out there is so that women have the confidence that these skills come naturally to me, and they should feel more confident about using those leadership skills when in a situation. So, for example, all of these women leaders, the prime ministers and the governors of US states, they were able to understand more about the kind of fear people are feeling during the pandemic. And hence, they were able to communicate in a way that addressed those fears. So when you're announcing social distancing norms and lockdowns, if you're able to address the root cause of it and also take care of why, the fear that people are experiencing, then it obviously makes for a lot more convincing communication. Right, and patience, for example, is another thing that comes to mind. During a lot of my 360-degree discussions with my team, they tell me, if I ask them what is it that I'm doing well, they tell me that you're very patient, right? And I tell them I take no credit for that. It just comes from being a mom, right? So these are the small things that I would say are different in how women lead normally versus the others.
That's a great insight, Kirti, again from your experience, and the insights were pretty relatable.
Mhm.
The other question which I really wanted to ask you is, as you rightly said, that women needs to feel confident, right? And a lot of times, maybe we don't have many peers to learn from because of the less representation
Mhm.
from women in leadership position. So,
Mhm.
how do you think we, like me or you, like us, there are a lot of fellow women leaders, how they can help the
Mhm.
upcoming women leaders to lift themselves in the career ladder?
Mhm. Awesome. That's a very good question, and something that I think about on an everyday basis. So there's of course a lot of advice for young women about what to do, what not to do, etc. But on a day-to-day basis, what we can do is elevate our co-workers, women co-workers more on an everyday basis. For example, when you are speaking up in a meeting and you are being overwritten by someone else, it's tricky to call that out. But if your peer can do that for you, it would just be a less embarrassing situation, right? So if you're trying to make a point, and the other thing is, if somebody is repeating what you're saying, and that's seen to be a common occurrence, people are more wary of that now. But again, if somebody just took credit for what you just said, then if your friend in the meeting, if as a woman co-worker, you can restate that and really attribute that, yes, that's what she was saying and I agree with it, and so on. So these small things, I think calling out that behavior, that'd be a great thing. And also the small bits, we don't self-promote a lot, right? And I've been around for 14 years, and that's what my managers have been trying to tell me, self-promote. Somehow I'm stubborn about that by a great deal. But if we can promote our women co-workers on their behalf, like celebrating their accomplishments, and companies have a lot of systems now where you can appreciate people for their contribution to culture, to saying thank yous in small ways, etc. So let's do that for each other if we don't if self-promotion doesn't feel right.
That's a great insight, Kirti. As Kirti said, that as fellow women leaders, we should encourage our upcoming women force or your team to make them belong and make them to get a feel that they are in a safe environment, so that they will also automatically speak up. And though you are expecting your colleagues and friends to promote you, it's always important that you also create a self identity for
I
yourselves.
agree.
And please speak up. That is something I would call out from my personal experience, right? Because I have come from a background where I didn't have much of peers to learn, women peers to learn from, or women leaders to look up to,
Mhm.
or support me in a forum. Because most of the forum, I'll be the only female leader out there. So do not hesitate. Rather, just speak up, create a brand for yourself. Believe that you are a brand, and whatever you are saying, that is in your perception and in your association. So don't hesitate to self promote yourself. Automatically, people also will start recognizing you. It's not a bad thing. That is
Mhm.
something from my side I wanted to call out. So I know you, Kirti, or when we had our previous conversation, also you always speak about right? Belonging in the team, and Freshworks is also in a big way driving the diversity, equality, and inclusive committee. The theme for that is belong, so that everyone working should belong to the team. So as a leader, we have a great responsibility to make the team members feel so. So in your experience, how do you take care of your team in such a way that your team is diversified, also they feel belong to the team?
Mhm. Yeah, before that, just to go to your previous point, Cynthia, about creating an identity for yourself and self promotion, I just recalled some good advice that I'd received a few years ago. If you're not speaking up in meetings, if you're not sharing your viewpoint, you're basically also not doing your job well, because if you decide to not share your point of view and just be quiet because that just feels more comfortable, you're not bringing in your perspective into the side of things. And about self promotion, I think there are different ways, right? You can be blatant about it and say, this is what I did, and that's a trumpet I'm blowing. Or you can be very analytical and measured about it, right? You ran a campaign for a month and there was these results to be seen. Send an email to everyone about those, share the
Correct.
results of that campaign, share it as learnings, right? Say that this is what we learned as a team worked and this is what it didn't work, and we want everyone else to also learn from that, right? So that's what I completely agree with you on that. Your second question, creating a sense of belonging, I think that's a huge project, and it's not just one thing to do, and that's why Freshworks as a company has this as an overarching theme of
Yeah.
whatever we do at the company. At my team level, what I do basically is, so feeling a sense of belonging is uh, just having the confidence that you're accepted for who you are, right? When you listen to people without judgment, when you hear their point of views, when you listen more and talk less, right? That's when it's people feel that they belong, right? If they don't, if they feel judged, they're not going to speak, they're going to shut off. And also, that's the whole point of diversity, right? When we're hiring people, we're hiring so that they bring unique perspectives into we want as many different ways to connect the dots so that we have different ideas, new ideas coming out. So to create that sense of belonging, I think one thing that seems easy and simple to do is being open about your own self, right? Not just strengths, but also weaknesses. Talking about your own weaknesses with people openly. And I've been doing that, right? I thought I was doing that for a long part of my career, being open about my weaknesses, maybe even a bit too much. But just last year, I was in a leadership workshop and we were talking about our leadership styles, and we were talking about our limitations as leaders, in our leadership styles. And I was sensing that the coach, the instructor, is somewhat frustrated with me. And I later realized that that's because I wasn't opening up about my flaws. I was acting very guarded, right?
Yeah.
And then I thought, somehow over the years, as you grow into a manager position, you start to feel the need that you need to be the smartest person in the room, that you need to have all the answers and you need to do everything right, which is absolutely absurd, right? That should not be the case. So that was sort of a course correction for me, where I said, I just need to admit that I don't really know what this is. And doing that also makes other people treat you as human. So that's one thing that works.
Yeah, I completely agree, Kirti. Baby, my nature is like shameless. So in any, uh, even it's a silly of the silliest question, right? So I'll be saying that, I know it may be silly, but I'll be asking the question. Sometimes I got you said this way. Sometimes I got the advice otherwise. So you really need to ask all these questions there. But my answer will be like, without knowing that basic, maybe I'll not be able to confidently contribute what I want to. So until I am clear about what I am talking, I'll not be able to talk. So I
Okay.
always like, it worked, it has not worked, but I always felt comfortable. I don't really care. I'll be like, I don't know, I don't understand this point, karke, even if it is a basic I used to ask. In my experience, that worked. is what I would say.
And some things
So,
don't change, right? So let's not try too hard.
yeah, correct. So, on the other hand, Kirti, we are not a policymakers that I know, right?
Mhm,
But I like to, because I'm also part of this DIE committee. I
mhm.
wanted to take insights from you as a fellow women leader. What is your vision for women and happy women workplace that has a good diversity and inclusivity culture?
Mhm.
So, what would be the ideal state, and what is your vision, and what can we do to make that
Okay.
happen, according to you?
Oh, yeah. So, put simply in one line, is workplaces where women forget that they're women and men forget that they're men,
Right.
right? So, even for men, there are so many unnecessary standards of masculinity and masculine behavior that are put down that they can't be themselves. Many of them can't be themselves. So, that's how I would put it.
Correct. So one of our previous guests, Jigyasa, in
Mhm.
fact, mentioned the same thing in a different way. She was saying that maybe I wanted to see a workplace where there's no need to drive diversity or inclusive program. There
Mhm.
is no need to talk about gender bias or diversity. They should
Yeah,
be like both are same. So that when that comes, maybe that is my vision. Absolutely right, right. So we need to move towards that. But the one good thing happening now is there is well awareness, and companies are taking conscious effort. I remember Freshworks pledging last year that this year in a Women's Day they wanted to reach 30% women. But I think that we are in already 34% of women representation, and now later they have started doing function by function. Now they wanted to do it in all hierarchy levels, right? So companies like Freshworks are consciously trying, and I'm sure
yes,
the picture is rosy and the future will be good. And
yes.
we as women leaders definitely will play a good part in setting the path for our upcoming generation for sure.
Definitely. Freshworks
So
walks the talk for sure.
yes, yes, correct. So we are fortunate enough, right, to be
Mhm.
there. So we both are very happy to be there, and I'm sure we inspire a lot of workplace to also have a safe workplace
Mhm.
for all the women leaders. So women or women leaders. So before that, this I ask everyone. So any specific women leader in the industry, or your women colleague, or anybody you aspire, or who inspires you, or whom you follow?
Okay. So, I've never had role models. Maybe because not one role model, at least, because your circumstances are different. You're different as a person, right? And you're in a different place, different time, etc. But then there are certain women leaders that I follow. Like, I always read what they put out, etc. So, for example, Anya Wittenberg. Then there is Sally Krawcheck. These women leaders are running successful companies and then also writing a lot of valuable stuff which comes from fresh perspective. Michelle Penelope is the other one. So definitely some people to follow.
Sure. You are also one personality to follow, Kirti, for sure. So, and, before jumping into the rapid fire question, I just wanted to know how excited are you being part of MOV Leaders, and have we fulfilled your expectation on what you expected in MOV Leaders?
Oh, yeah. First of all, thanks for inviting me, Cynthia. Getting a chance to talk about this topic that is close to my heart, you don't get to do that every day. So I'm very happy to get that platform to talk about it. And I've gone through some of the recent podcasts, and they're very natural, very refreshing discussions where all the people are coming in and sharing their experiences firsthandly. None of it is made up stuff. So that's very, very valuable. And like I was saying to you, I really admire your own at a personal level. I admire your sincere passion for the topic of women succeeding at work. So very happy to be a part of this.
Thank you, Kirti. So, as I told multiple times, fortunate enough to have a great, parents and good societal
Mhm.
circumstances, but still, workplace journey was not easy for me because of the maybe the gender representation was low, or how we have to be treated. There should be a way, right? Nobody was caring about that, so I was learning in my own way,
Mhm.
and I have become stronger, and I have learned a lot. And when I came to a workplace like Freshworks, I felt very belonging, and I felt like, I can now be 100 times more productive because I need not worry about any other these things, right?
Mm.
So as rightly said, I think at least in Freshworks we don't get any like women men treatment. We all
Hmm.
feel like same way, and we all feel like a team. So that helped me a lot. So that made me to feel like, we have to bring a lot of women leaders on this platform and make
Mhm.
everybody to learn from them. More women leaders need to come so that companies like Freshworks will come forward and they will create a program for women leaders. And this will improve the representation, which will become a norm instead of a special
Mhm.
treatment. So it will become
That's
a
the
day
way
to
I
day
put it.
from one day. Yeah. So that is it's a tiny step towards that. And thank you for leaders like you who are taking time from their busy schedule and coming and throwing your natural insights to all of us. Thank you, Kirti, for that. Before winding up the show, a couple of rapid fire
Mhm.
questions for you, Kirti, in a very light note. So the one thing you learned from your parents, what would be that?
Oh, okay. I would say two things. One is discipline. Like, as per them, discipline is everything. The
Wow.
time you get up, how committed are you to what you're working on? And the second thing is an emphasis on authenticity, maybe by even an inordinate amount. That's the second value that I've learned from both of them.
Wow. Super, super, Kirti. So one new habit or hobby you picked up in lockdown.
Oh yeah, not new. So I used to jog a lot before
I wish. Okay.
before I became a mom, and I decided to give all my free time to being with my son. But lockdown has cut down that commute time, and I'm on the treadmill again, which I love.
Great, great. So at least I think this lockdown made all of us to take care of our health, right? We all started thinking about healthy lifestyle. That is something one good change this lockdown has bring in, I
For
guess.
sure, for sure.
One ideal vacation spot.
It's always a beach, a nice beach. Somehow, yeah, only that cuts it. What about you?
Anywhere if there is water, greenery, any place that is, I'll be up for, Kirti. So I'm a
Nice.
nature loving person and I love to travel. In fact, the one thing I miss in this COVID period is traveling. So I
Wow. Yeah.
picked up marketing job only to travel. So when I got married, the first condition I have put is I am a traveler. I'll be traveling. My job is a lot of travel. Even after I give birth to my child, I'll go on traveling. But that continued touch wood till last year. I think only COVID disrupted it. Otherwise, the one thing I love about marketing job is traveling.
Travel. Okay. Nice.
So I love traveling. So, okay, the final question: any TV series or latest TV series or movie that is lingering in your mind?
Oh yeah, I saw just finished The Crown. Uh, I picked it up quite a few times before, but it was sort of quite slow for my taste. But now I just finished watching it, and I think the latest one with Margaret Thatcher was rather, yeah, mind blowing.
Yesterday I finished Bold Type, 4 seasons.
Okay, how is it?
Yeah, I liked it. In fact, Crown, my father watched, and he became the fan of the show, and he's insisting me to watch.
Hmm.
I have to start. As you rightly said, I saw the first episode. It was a bit slower, and
Yeah,
I also have to pick it up and watch.
you should.
Thank you Kirti, for coming on to the show. It was fun talking to you, and a lot of great insights about product marketing. I'm sure the aspirants out there will use this opportunity. Keep inspiring us, Kirti. This is Sandhya Balasingh signing off from all of you before meeting one another exciting guest in the episode 9 of MOV Leaders. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.